Hello, you're playing The Waiting Game. This is the show where we suggest a bunch of stuff to keep you busy until the game you want comes out. Please stand by for the intro theme, which is inappropriately jaunty this week, given the game's set in the Third Reich. Wolfenstein: The New Order is released next year, putting you back in the boots of William B.J. Blazkowicz, the man who has already proven himself capable of toppling Nazi Germany like 7 or 8 times.
The world was forced into submission.
The New Order takes place in an alternate history in which the Germans won World War II. Set in the 1960s, BJ escapes a mental asylum, then takes it upon himself to conquer Nazi Germany. But while you're waiting for BJ to chew through his arm restraints and get to killing, what should you check out in the meantime to get you ready for Wolfenstein: New Order? Well, let's see. Wolfenstein is a truly classic series mixing the Nazis with a wee bit of the occult. There are loads of films that play around with that idea. There's Outpost, there's Iron Sky, there's even Dead Snow, featuring the inspired tagline, Ein, zwei, die. The problem is, all of these films kind of suck, and if there's one man who's going to defeat the Nazis single-handed on the silver screen, there's only really one choice for the job. Yeah, we couldn't not really, could we? Indiana Jones: The Raiders of the Lost Ark is an absolute classic that sees American archaeologist Indiana Jones take on the Third Reich in a race to find the Ark of the Covenant, the fabled chest in which the smashed stones of the Ten Commandments were placed. This is one of my absolute favourite films, and it's got bloody everything. There's a monkey in a waistcoat, guessing games involving sand, and even a drinking competition. Fun fact, when I was a child, my parents told me they were competing to see who could drink the most vinegar. They weren't. We'll move on to a book now, though it is also a film in case you happen to be, you know, illiterate. Fatherland by Robert Harris, like The New Order, is set in the 1960s in a world where the Nazis won World War II, just like in Wolfenstein. While it's more of a European crime thriller than a tale of one man toppling an entire empire, the vibrant depiction of this monstrous society will make you appreciate the broader implications of this alternate history a lot better, actually showing you how that society works, rather than simply making you shoot your way through it. And while we're on the subject of books about living under the Nazi regime, I genuinely believe everyone should read Alone in Berlin. Written by Hans Fallada, a writer persecuted by the Nazis for many years, Alone in Berlin tells the story of an old man and his wife who, on losing their son in the war, decide to drop postcards with anti-Nazi slogans on the streets of Berlin. The SS soon gets wind, starting a game of cat and mouse between a ruthlessly sharp detective and the determined old man. The tension throughout the book is heart-poundingly high and will invoke the same kind of paranoid anxiety you can expect to feel in Wolfenstein: New Order, knowing the entirety of Hitler's empire is after you. Alright, that's enough literature for 1 week. Let's move on to one of those other things. What do you call them? Video games. Singularity was released by Activision in 2010. Sadly, Activision didn't throw much marketing behind it all, so very few people actually bought it. A shame really, because it's really genuinely good. Singularity tasks you with exploring a facility seemingly trapped between 2 timelines. Not only can you use a special glove to warp objects and even people back and forth 50 years in time, but you can actually fall through rifts in the space-time continuum and change the past of the remote island on which the game takes place. The game is basically one big exercise in alternate history, just like Wolfenstein! In terms of the look and feel of the game's combat, it also looks remarkably similar, making it the perfect game to romp through before joining the New Order next year. And finally this week we're rounding off with another film to do with a few people standing up against all the Nazis.
We're family. We have to stick together.
Defiance, starring him out of James Bond Daniel Craig, is set in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe during the war. 3 brothers manage to escape into the forests of Belarus, where they join up with some of the Russian resistance and try to establish themselves among the trees, in the hopes they can protect themselves and about 1,000 Jews from the German Einsatzgruppen or firing squads. The film, actually based on a true story, is punctuated by tense set pieces, pitting the brothers against seemingly insurmountable German forces at various points. Just like Wolfenstein! Genuinely though, Defiance is a really good film to watch, thematically speaking, preparing you for the feeling you stand alone and vulnerable against an indomitable enemy. If you want to check out Defiance or any of the other things recommended in this episode, why not follow the link on screen? All the items are grouped on a useful Amazon list, including Wolfenstein The New Order itself. Should that tickle your fancy? I'll be back next week, but in the meantime, feel free to make your own recommendations by leaving a comment or tweeting with the hashtag GSWaitingGame. See you next week.